My Hero Academia's superpowers are all based on this idea of quirks. But what are they really? And how do they work? And what quirk would you or I have if they existed in this world? What's going on, guys? To find out what your quirk would be, subscribe to NerdView for more My Hero Academia videos, and drop a comment with your wildest quirk-based theory. So let's look at the origins of quirks. The first person to manifest a quirk was a baby, who could release beams of light from his skin. The initial cause of quirks is still unknown, but popular belief is that a virus carried by mice spread amongst humans. This resulted in a large number of people developing quirks. Now, based on this, we have to assume the virus actually alters the genetic code of the individual, as we know that quirks are inherited through your parents. So this led to 80% of people in the My Hero world possessing quirks. The origin of quirks was no smooth sailing boat. All for One was born, and he used his ability to remove quirks from people who did not want them and pass them on to those who were born without the necessary genes to have one, which seems humanitarian at first in kind, but he developed a large cult-like following of devout followers, and amongst all the propaganda, he was able to maneuver undetected in his villain-like ulterior motives. So, the world began to lack order and chaos consumed the planet, with those using their quirks for illegal gain appearing all over the place, and in response, a rise of vigilantism to combat it, before becoming regulated and appearing as seen in My Hero today. So back to how quirks actually work. The most common quirk is through direct adoption of a quirk that one of the child's parents have, or potentially a fusion of the two, like Todoroki's half cold, half hot, though this is extremely rare. There is a very rare potential for a completely new quirk to form due to the random mutation of genes. Now this is how Tamura Shigaraki got his decay quirk. Usually when quirks form, many mutations take place on a biological level, so your quirk functions with your body, such as Bakugo's skin secreting nitroglycerin to help him detonate explosions. But what's not fully explained, though, but is seen, is that each character must have some sort of mutation that provides immunity or at least partial resistance to their quirks so they don't become severely injured by them. Some users are more adapted to their quirks than others, which can make them much more powerful opponents. But the worst example here is Deku. Being born without a quirk gives him no natural resistance to the powers of One for All. So every time he uses it, it has a load on his body which is extreme and damaging to him. Hence why he undergoes such grueling training just for his body to withstand the burden of One for All. So what about quirk categories? Quirks are actually split into definable categories, similar to Hunter x Hunter's Nen. There are 4 types of quirk, roughly speaking. Emitters, who either release or sometimes alter matter. Transformation type quirks, which give the user the ability to morph their body into something, with the only known exception of this being Seji's meatball quirk, which can turn other people into human fleshy blobs, which is pretty fun. Next, there is mutant types. These are quirks which have physically altered the user in a visible way, enhancing certain features such as strength, hearing, number of limbs, height, etc. Then finally, there's accumulation type quirks, which are more of an extras feature of any of the other 3. Certain quirks require absorption or charging before they can be used at full power, or even used altogether, like Momo's creation quirk. But why do quirks seem to fit each character so well? You could say that because they're the genetic expression seen by the individual, it is influenced by other genetic factors, such as personality traits. This would explain why Bakugo's explosive type quirk is the way it is, and he's also incredibly aggressive. Or Uraraka, who is very shy, and Caring, who has a quirk that is of a non-violent nature. This is a reasonable assumption given the genetic importance on quirks, and presumably their parents are of a similar personality, so quirks also match their user. Right? But what if that's not the case? Perhaps the very nature of the quirk results in a personality in orbit and reflection of it. If you have the capacity for violence with your quirk like Bakugo does, the first time you use it in such a manner and you succeed, you're suddenly positively reinforced, and now conditioned to use your quirk like that in the future. Thus, your personality develops around your quirk, and having it being a core part of your being. Fun fact here, you can actually inherit the physical mutation of a quirk without possessing the relative quirk ability, which is why Coda. So that's how quirks work, guys. If you liked the video, subscribe to NerdView for more anime content and more My Hero Academia videos. I'll catch you all again